Tell me something. How is it that you spend 6 hours a day watching BL dramas, reading 50-page fan fictions, and obsessing over fictional BL couples, but the second a real gay person exists in front of you, you're disgusted? How does that even work? There are very specific types of fans in this community who will happily stream two men falling in love with each other on screen, but the moment it comes to LGBTQ rights, equality, real gay actors, all that support just vanishes. You don't care about queer people. All you care about is sexualizing and fetishizing attractive men inside your fictional fantasy sandbox. And if you think this is just harmless fandom drama, wait till you get to section 5 because we need to talk about the BL free pass and how fans actively use fictional characters to excuse real world harm. So let's start with the double standard that proves this entire hypocrisy. The double standard becomes so obvious when you take a look at how the fandom treats real life actors. There is apparently an unspoken rule which says be gay but only on my terms. These fans absolutely love watching soft, emotional, pretty boys on screen. But as soon as an actor is openly queer or wears feminine fashion in real life, all that support just vanishes. Take Earth or New, for example. These people are incredibly talented. Their fashion sense, their makeup, they are unapologetically themselves, and they are just amazing human beings. But when you open their comment sections, you see a lot of people talking about how they are more feminine now, and they just cannot see these actors as main leads anymore. This actually happened with DMD actors recently because the second actors like Namping or Om, they started expressing themselves in a more feminine way. A vocal side of the fandom created this narrative that DMD is forcing their actors to be more feminine for more views and money. These actors actually had to step up and clarify that no, indeed, they are not being forced, and that's just who they are. They are just more comfortable in expressing themselves more, and that's it. But notice how these fans reacted. They did not care about what the actor actually wanted. They masked their own femmephobia as concern for these actors' agency, all because they couldn't handle the fact that a real man is stepping outside of their rigid, hyper masculine fantasy. You claim to love queer romance, but the second an actor steps out of their box and expresses and embraces their fluid femininity, you have a problem with it and you call it a PR stunt. Okay, so let me get this straight. You want two men to fall in love on screen, but the second an actor doesn't act like your stereotypical hypermasculine alpha male off screen, you have a problem with it. You just cannot accept it anymore. I mean, are you hearing yourself? Because that isn't being a fan. That is performative allyship at its absolute worst. Now, this performative support doesn't just stop at high profile actors, it actually shows up in regular everyday fandom interactions too, including this one conversation I had recently that absolutely blew my mind. Now, I know this girl whose very first introduction to BL was reading Killing Stalking, dark, heavy psychological stuff. Now, fast forward a few months, she gets a boyfriend, and her boyfriend finds out that she reads BL. And he laughed about it. He called it disgusting, said, aren't you straight? You're my girlfriend. You shouldn't be obsessing over two men being together. You shouldn't be watching two men fall in love with each other. And then her entire stance just flipped overnight. She literally came up to me and said, I don't watch BLs anymore. They're so cringe and disgusting. And it did make me a little bit angry, but I was like, okay, fine, to each their own. I mean, I shouldn't care about this. I don't care about this at all. Whether you like BL or not, it's not my problem. But, a few months ago, I saw her scrolling through BL manhwa titles on her phone, and I asked her, like, didn't you stop reading BL manhwas because your boyfriend said it's disgusting? And she was like, no, when did I ever say that? I just haven't had the time to be updated with the community. Actually, you know what? Give me some recs. Okay, give me some recs, but don't keep it dark. And then she asked me about drama recommendations. So naturally, I thought she might like Thai BLs or Korean BLs or maybe Japanese BLs. So I recommended her a few. And she said, and I quote, Ew, I don't like their accents, especially Thai BLs. I don't like how their voice sounds. It's so cringe. How can you even watch that stuff? And I was like, what? What do you watch then? I mean, I know there are queer shows all around the world, but if you're talking about BL, the first things that came to my mind is obviously Thai BL. So I was like, what do you watch? She was like, oh, I only watch Western shows like Young Royals or Red, White, and Royal Blue. Just what kind of mental gymnastics is that? So, BL is disgusting if your boyfriend judges you for it, but it's totally fine to read it all alone when nobody is looking. Queer romance is only acceptable for you if it comes in an English speaking Western package, but as soon as it's Asian actors with regional accents, it's cringe for you. That's not a preference. That's internalized shame mixed with casual xenophobia. And if you think this bias is only about accents, take a look at how parts of this fandom react to actual real life queer dating shows. When South Korea released dating shows like His Man and Mary Queer, it was an actual historic moment for queer representation. But if you look at a lot of commentary from a certain subset of fans, you will see that there was instant disappointment only because this queer dating show didn't play out like an actual scripted BL drama. A lot of people complained that the guys were too hesitant, the dating was awkward, and the show lacked main character visuals and chemistry. Because it is real life. Real people coming out on camera do not have a script director that sets up romantic lighting for them or directs them on dramatic waist grabs and sets up romantic background music for them. Real dating involves nervous pauses and awkwardness and obviously boundaries, and there are a lot of things involved, okay? If you can digest 12 episodes of toxic, dramatic mafia BLs, but you find two normal people going on a coffee date too boring or too slow, newsflash, you don't love queer media. You just love watching attractive straight men act out your personal fantasy trope filled fan fictions. So, we know that real gay men make these fans uncomfortable, but do you know who gets treated even worse? Any real woman who dares to step into the fandom space. I feel like this is the most toxic side of this community, the pure hatred and misogyny towards any woman who even exists near a BL actor. As soon as a BL actor is rumored to be dating a woman, is seen anywhere near a woman, or posts a completely normal picture with a woman, the fans go crazy, like they lose it. Suddenly, the comment sections are filled with hate trains, death threats, conspiracy theories. You start attacking real people just because they don't fit into your fantasies. And this misogyny doesn't just target real women, it directly bleeds into GL dramas too. These fans will binge watch 50 BL dramas in a year, but as soon as a GL drama comes out, they go, oh, two women, I don't like that. I cannot watch two female leads together. That's so boring. Why? Because you don't care about queer representation or equality. You just want two hot men together on screen for your own entertainment. If your support for queer love stops as soon as a woman enters the picture, whether as real partners or GL leads, that is not allyship. That is internalized misogyny. Which brings us to the ultimate shield fans use to ignore all of this toxicity. I like to call it the BL free pass. Apparently, if an actor plays a beloved BL character, fans grant them total immunity from real world accountability. I have literally experienced this firsthand when in my previous video I talked about some of these BL actors' questionable statements and actions. And guess what happened in the comment section? It was pure chaos. Fans flooded the comment section saying, you are just using them for clout. You're just trying to cancel them. You're just looking for attention. You're just desperate. Why are you digging up their past? Calling out real life bullying isn't clout chasing, it's holding public figures accountable. But the problem is, fans absolutely refuse to separate the actor from the fictional character. In their minds, just because an actor played a good character in a drama, that actor becomes a literal angel who can do nothing wrong. You are actively dismissing real world harm just so you can protect your parasocial fantasy. When you step back and look at all of these patterns together, it really forces an uncomfortable realization about where this fandom actually stands. At the end of the day, media consumption is easy. Anyone can stream a show, obsess over fictional characters, and spam heart emojis in the comment section. But real support comes from actual empathy. If your support for the LGBTQ plus community vanishes off screen, or when a woman is involved, or when real world accountability is requested, you do not love queer media. You just love a convenient fantasy. So ask yourself and tell me honestly, are you actually an ally to the community, or are you only an ally when a script is involved? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep it respectful, but let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.